Welcome to this Aderyn screencast. Today we're going to look at the commercial inquiries results page. So once your inquiry has been processed, you will receive an email, and that email will contain a link to your results. The first thing that will appear when you follow that link is the important notes pop-up. This will include a link to the Aderyn Terms and Conditions and will provide other information relating to your data search and how it can be used and who it can be shared with. If we click OK, we will then see the summary page. Here we have the package that was selected, which in this particular case was for protected and priority species within 1 kilometre. There is a breakdown then of the number of records for each of the species categories, so protected and priority species, species of conservation concern, and the locally important species. Finally, the invasive non-native species records from this particular data search. On the next line we have the number of sites in brackets with the number of site types outside of the brackets, and I'll explain why this is formatted in such a way in a moment. And similarly with habitats, this is the number of habitat types, and this is phase 1 habitat types that have been recorded from within this data search. Underneath the summary table there is a brief information about the location that was selected. So in this case a grid reference was provided and the search area was buffered around that. Then if any additional data users were named on your data inquiry and release form, then they will appear here. On the right hand side we have the billing information. So this is a dummy data search with my colleague Elaine as the recipient. This is the pricing, so the cost of the data search. And here we have some important dates, i.e. the date that the data search was run, delivered to you, the client, and the date on which the data use expires. At the bottom of the page then we have a summary map, and here you can toggle the species categories on and off. So the red dots are priority and protected species, the orange dots are the species of conservation concern, yellow ones are locally important, and then there are some black ones underneath all of that which are the invasive non-natives, and you can turn those on and off to view the data, and we'll be using the map again a little bit in a moment. On the next tab we have the species information itself. So in this particular case we have 4 additional tabs for each of the categories of species importance. So again, priority and protected species, species of conservation concern, and the locally important species with the invasive non-natives then at the end. The tabs that appear here will change depending on which category, which package you select in your data search. So for example, if you are viewing the results from package A, which is the equivalent of our bats and roof nesting birds search, then only bats and roof nesting birds will appear in these tabs. If the species categories are not how you wish to separate the data, then you can click on this link to group the species by taxonomic group, and this will take you back to the summary page. And so here we have the data organized by taxonomic group. I'm going to go back to the species categories. So initially the data is ordered by distance. So in this particular example the distance is the search area was clearly very close to this particular set of records, and you can change the sort order by simply clicking on the header row. So for example, if you wanted to search by species name or recorder or grid reference, then first click will order ascending, second click will order by descending. The final useful tool on this page is the search box here. So within here you can type in any word, and as long as it appears in this table, the results will filter accordingly. And as I say, it works on any of the fields that are available. You can also click on a particular record to view the full detail. This record actually indicates another useful feature. In order to save space within the data searches, we run a process called deduping. So where the same species is recorded at the same grid reference on multiple occasions, then they are combined into one row with the detail of the records outlined in this summary. The next tab along is for the designated sites, and in this case we have both statutory and non-statutory sites where they are available. This particular data search only includes a single statutory site, and if you click on the display button, then it will appear on the map. And if you hover over, you can see the details. So also you will note that the name of the site appears here when you toggle the display. If the citation was available through Aderyn, then this would become a hyperlink, which would take you then to that citation for you to be able to download it. These other site types are priority areas, and they don't have any site names, so we display a description of these particular sites. Also, because this particular data search was in Rhondda and Tav, we don't hold sync information for Rhondda and Tav, so this box will appear for any search in this unitary authority with a link then to be able to contact the county recorder. But even though the names aren't available for these priority habitats, because they don't have names, they can still be displayed on the map as seen here. Let's turn those back off again. Similarly for habitats, here we have the 18 habitat types that have been recorded from within this data search area. And again, if you click on the display tabs, then that particular habitat type will appear in your data search. And the red ones, these ones that are highlighted, are the ones that, this is phase 1 habitat data, and these red ones contain habitat types that may be on the priority habitat lists for Section 7 under the Wales Environment Act. So although these priority habitats don't map perfectly to phase 1, these phase 1 habitats might include the habitats that are particularly important. Okay, and the final tab then is the export tab, and it's at this point that you can then export your data for inclusion in your reports. So there are a couple of outputs that are particularly available, but I will just demonstrate the printable PDF report that we have here. So if you click on this link, you will then get the options of producing a confidential version of the report or a public version. So if you intend for this report to be placed in the public domain, we would urge you use the public report type. This then takes out the recorder names, and it takes out the important sensitive species and reduces the resolution of the grid references for sensitive species. If it's for internal use or for sharing with your named data users as agreed on your data exchange, data inquiry and release form at the beginning, then use the confidential report. And you can add maps into this report should you wish. Then when you click OK, here you have, it opens up in your browser, but this report can then be saved as a PDF by using your browser tools. So for Chrome, for example, you can go in and select print, and as your print, rather than a printer, you can save as PDF, and this will enable you to save your report as a PDF for inclusion in your documents. It's probably worth pointing out at this stage that you can actually interact with the map here, so you can change the background mapping to aerial view if you wish, and zoom in and zoom out depending on your needs before you save that as a PDF. There are a few other export options if we go back to the Exports tab. But you can also download the GIS layers of the search area, the species data, and the designated sites that have been output within this report. This is something that we used to provide under our old systems here at Sobrec. Similarly, you can download the raw data as a comma-separated values, which can be opened up in Excel. And there is also a species list available in CSV format. And to finish off this video, I'm just going to quickly point you in the direction of eMapper, which is another method of viewing and downloading the data. So if you click on that button, we just have to wait whilst the results are loaded into the page. So this is a system that was developed by Cofnod in North Wales and included as part of Aderyn, so that we can make use of it. And I'm not going to take you through how to use it. The best way to learn what eMapper to do is to click on the Take a Tour button, which will then allow you to take a tour, as it says, through the various aspects of eMapper and what it can do for you and how to get what you need from it. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoy using the Commercial Enquiries results pages on Aderyn and eMapper.